Well, I'd like to introduce somebody next to me here, Hong-Yee WONG from Iugo. He's actually a good friend of mine. I've known for years. Iugo is a very successful independent game studio, and they're going through some very similar things that my company, Glue Mobile, is going through, and that's going from premium to freemium and social. And I'm very proud to present Hong and his plans, and I think this is very topical for what we're all going through right now because, as we all know, freemium and social is the big buzzword, and it's frankly what's really driving our industry right now. If you look at the app stores, over 40% of the games being submitted are freemium and social, and over 60% of the revenues now are coming through in-app purchases, which are through freemium and social games. So it's definitely not going away, and I think this is a very topical discussion. So please listen up and have some good questions ready. And without further ado.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for coming to my session. Thanks to Casual Connect, of course, for letting me speak. I'm going to talk about social games for smartphones, challenges, opportunities, some of the things that we encountered as a studio, the things that we've learned. So start off, I want to have a quick show of hands to see how many of you have published or launched or developed a social game on a smartphone right now. How many have done that already? Okay, a couple of people. Okay, good. So this is the agenda. I'll, obligatory slides on how big this thing is: mobile gaming, social gaming. I'll continue a quick intro about Iugo, about us, and then followed by some case studies of the social games that we've done, and followed up by the last slide, which is hopefully the most interesting part, which is our things that we've learned, and have a discussion on that. I'll go relatively quickly to catch up on the time spent on the technical difficulties later on. So if you've been here yesterday and you've been watching all the media on mobile games and social games, you know that this is a phenomenon that's huge. It's coming. Smartphones are really becoming a lifestyle device. I mean, it started in Asia quite a few years ago, and right now North America and Europe, or Europe started earlier as well. People are realizing that you can do that on a smartphone. So it's more than a communication device. It's definitely a lifestyle device right now. Showing some numbers out, smartphones very recently have outsold PCs for the first time. Fresh numbers from Apple, over 200 million Apple mobile devices, that's iOS, iPod Touch, iPhone, and the iPad. 33 million sold in the last quarter. That works out to be about 367,000 per day. Again, on the App Store, 425,000 apps. These numbers are probably outdated the minute I punched them in. 15 billion games downloaded. That's huge numbers. On the Android side, just as respectable, over 130 million devices activated, about 550,000 per day of new devices activated. More good news stats. Mobile devices account for more than half, or almost half of all game downloads. Right? There's a lot of activity. On iOS, 63 million iOS developers, 63 million iOS gamers downloading 5 million games per day. All right, these numbers are from various sources. You can find them easily on the web. All these are great news. Virtual goods market in the U.S. is predicted to be really big, and smartphone is expected to have 50% penetration by the end of this year. So these are all the good stuff. And of course, being a mobile studio, we fully believe in this and are excited about it. A bit of more stats from Flurry, to dispel the mindset that, people are using mobile devices, smartphones for browsing the web. Flurry has shown that that was the case. Now it's no longer the case. An average user actually spends 81 minutes on games and apps, right? And not just on Safari on a smartphone. That has changed radically from the past. And out of this 81 minutes, the breakdown is shown here, 47% time spent on games. Okay. More stats from Nielsen. Time spent on games, iPhone users about 15 hours a month, Android users about 9 hours per month. So that's the good news. This one is interesting news, not necessarily good. And it shows that the shift from premium games to freemium games. And the reason why I say it's not necessarily fantastic news is that this is another way of saying that discovery sucks, right? Discovery really sucks on if you're doing premium games. Okay, the market for premium games has changed a lot, especially for indies, right? So I'm definitely presenting this from an indies perspective. When you create original IP, it used to be when we started on the App Store, in 2008, just focus on doing a great game, and it will be noticed, it will be downloaded, you'll make a lot of money. No longer the case. Right now, it's a very crowded space, and the only chance for your game to be visible, to be seen, for indies especially, is to go freemium. So these are the opportunities, right? So smartphones, we all know, poised for explosive growth. Social connectivity in gaming is a key factor. I fully believe that the connection between people on a mobile device is key, and that's the reason why I named the company Iugo. Iugo actually in Latin means connect. And finally, it's time that it's about time that the infrastructure is possible for a lot of people to be online, a lot of people to be connecting. Novel discovery methods is becoming a key factor as well. So that is a challenge. That is no easy solution. Right now, a lot of developers, a lot of publishers are trying different things. So that is a key factor. Opportunity-wise, all the large players have a renewed interest in mobile. All the big companies are paying a lot more attention into mobile. A lot of companies that are not that convinced about mobile are really moving right now. A lot of course, M&A activities. So if your goal is to be, to be bought out by Zynga, now is the time that you should quickly get some games up. About us, we're a small team in Vancouver, 20 odd people, privately held, independent. Started in 2003, one of the geriatric group companies. This is where we are right now. We've done Lil Pirates. That was original IP that was published by Capcom. We recently launched Sunshine Cruise Lines, and that one is our new to-be-announced title. I can share the same talk as Half-Brick about our evolution. We went from the old, what I like to call the not-so-smartphone era. Before smartphones, we did a lot of work for hire. 2008 or so, when the App Store was announced, we started to build our original IP, and now we're going into social. We're going to expand our studio. A few key pillars that that's always been our mantra: team, technology, quality, and innovation. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. So this is some of the games we've done in the past on feature phones, right? So we've started as work for hire. The difference with Half-Brick is that we've been mobile focused from day one. Right? So we did J2ME and Brew and survived that period. When the App Store was announced, we completely turned around. I said, okay, this is our chance to do our own IP. We know we can do it. We've been building world-class games for other people. Let's do it for ourselves. We were very lucky that we got in very early. And we have had almost 20 games by now on iPhone and iPad. And if you look at our portfolio, we intentionally did very different games. We've done platformers, we've done tower defense, we've done turn-based strategy, we've done races, we've done 3D dual-stick shooters, we've done puzzles. And the reason for that is that I want to learn. Right? I want to learn what is this new smartphone user. What do they like? What's the pattern? And if you just only do one game and do one platformer, you'll never find out what the people out there are like. So these are sort of, most of them are premium paid games. And of course, we're multi-platform from day one. So we've done, devices or platforms shown below. iOS right now, of course, is still the most important platform in our opinion today. So jumping right into the case study of one of our social games, or our first social game, first claim to fame as a social games maker. Lil Pirates is a game that we created, and we wanted, at that time, we launched it in November. We were not confident enough as an indie studio that we can handle the publishing of a social game. It's a very different beast. But we designed the game. We did a lot of study of existing games. What are the good parts? Which parts they fail? And we actually, Capcom happened to come to our studio and saw some of the initial work, and they liked it a lot, and they said they wanted to publish it. So we joined forces with them. The game was launched in November. Very well received. 4.5 stars almost from the beginning. I'll talk more about the game in the next slide. Some of the key factors for success, of course, is we did a lot of homework. This was not the first mobile social game launch, of course. We did a lot of homework on how other developers, other publishers do their games. Learn from that, and we wanted this to be also a learning experience for us. So we actually went crazy and did a lot of features in this game. They're all casual, but we have very many screens in this game. The other area that we went crazy, of course, is with the level of customization. It's one of the most customizable games out there. You can customize your character and also your ship. We innovated on gameplay. We tried to use well understood mechanics, but change it a little bit. For example, there are some farming games out there that's really popular. People really like that, but I don't think pirates farm, so we have to think of something else. So we thought of a treasure island in the bottom screen there, where you actually accrue treasure and you actually bury it. The treasure, over time, increases in value. So it's like farming. And we added a new twist to it, that your friends can actually steal your treasure. It's a social twist to it. Your friends can come visit your ship, visit your treasure island, and actually steal it. So, it's not easy, of course, to come with something new on the smartphone as a game. But there are always opportunities if you think hard, and we always try to do something slightly different. A few other things, of course, obvious things would be quality of development. The art has to be top notch. Never ship a game that's half done. Your art is half done, right? Top notch art, technology. I'm looking at the time here, so I can talk a lot about technology, but I'm just going to spend a few sentences on it. Over the years, we have made the decision to spend a lot of our attention on building our own technology. And that was not easy to do, of course, as an indie, because instead of using my engineer to build the game and make money, we're making tools, we're making the processes work better. So over the years, it's been very hard to keep that focus, but this is now we're really feeling the rewards of it. We have technology that's extremely stable. We launch on iOS 3. It runs beautifully on iOS 3. With server, with social games now, back end and front end are extremely important, and we have very little dependencies on external technology. So with this game, we're lucky that we hit it just right. Many of the factors hit it really well, and we have very high, high ARPU on the game. So very encouraged. We just launched. We just developed and launched our next social title, and this time we decided to publish it on our own. So the title is called Sunshine Cruise Lines, and it's again original IP developed by us. Launched a few weeks ago. 4.5 stars. Quite encouraged. It's a cruise ship simulation game where you run a cruise ship, you manage, you customize your ship, and the idea is to make money, right? You can customize your ship to be a very, moderate class, a lot of small little rooms, or you can have first class rooms, you can have all the facilities. So that is sort of a well-known mechanic, a well-known sort of time management mechanic. And we wanted, of course, to add onto that. That's not good enough. We wanted to add a social element, and our idea was, oh, okay, so let's make destinations, right? So cruise ship obviously sails from place to place. You have ports that you unlock as you earn money, and let's make it social. So as soon as you land on a new port, you send a postcard. We made a lot of art, a lot of beautiful postcards where you would send it to your Facebook friends. So you tell your friends, I landed in Bangkok. So we're always trying to combine well-known mechanics, and some innovation, and to again, learning experience for us. Right? We don't claim to know a lot. We're continuing to experiment, and with this game, we've built in a heck of a lot of analytics. So this is my last slide. I'm just going to go through some of the learnings that we have earned over the years. Quality, if you want a game to be featured by Apple, it has to be top-notch. That one, needless to say. Creativity, I think our approach is definitely do not be afraid to unleash your creativity. Sometimes you succeed, and a lot of times you bomb. Out of the lots of games that I showed you, of course, a lot of them, well, not a lot, but some of them are bombs, right? It's inevitable, but I think that will set you apart. If you try that will set you apart. Freemium design, like Maury from Glue who spoke yesterday, it's a very different beast. Right? You have to understand it. You can understand it by studying others. You can understand it by making small games and figuring it out. It's non-trivial. You should think of that from the start. Balancing is critical. And babysitting, after you launch a game, you're not done yet. That's when it begins. You babysit the game. If your baby has a core dump, you have to quickly go clean it up and continue to nurture it. It's a very long process. I mean, I started a studio, with just tech people. We have some programmer art, and we didn't have artists. We didn't have game designers for a long time. And right now we have 4 full-time game designers, right? They're always looking at other games, always focusing on balancing, focusing on how to hit the exact perfect game design for the players. Technology, always maintain a long-term plan. I think it is, time to market is always important. Get it out quick, but of course, don't forget about your long-term tech plan, because if you are too short-sighted, you might make decisions that would bite you later on, right? Even though you plan to use technologies that are available, be aware of that. Be aware of your dependencies, right? That's something that for us, it may not work for everybody else. For us, we were pretty stubborn on, and we wanted to reduce dependencies. So we built a lot of our own technology. For example, the quickest way to get a 2D game out with sprites would be using Cocos 2D, right? I think that's an obvious choice. But when you're thinking of longer term, if your game gets really successful, you need to move to Android. What if Cocos 2D is not there? What if Cocos 2D gets bought by somebody, which actually did happen? What happens? You have to be mindful of that when you make your decisions. Front and back end, again, relative to social, the social game back ends are extremely complex. Don't underestimate that. Make sure you hire the right people. Have a good plan for that. Multi-platform, again, keep that in mind when you start. Don't restrict yourself to just iOS. Platforms come and go very quickly. Analytics, built into it. It's extremely complex. It's extremely hard to do, but it gives you a lot of information. It actually teaches you a lot of things. Of course, our games cannot rely completely on analytics. You have to have a gut feel. You have to merge that with design. But for a successful, social game, you do have to have that. Discovery and distribution, I think, would be reserved for a different talk, because it is a challenge. It's a big challenge right now. I think many developers, indies, are figuring it out. Even larger publishers are figuring it out as well. And funding, you know, if you're okay to fund it yourself, it's good. If not, there are a lot of publishers that are willing to support you, and a lot of publishers are willing to share their knowledge as well. So I think my time is up. I will take questions. While we get a mic set up, I think I want to just get the last slide in, which is sort of an opportunity thing. I fully believe that with a lot of platforms, you know the obvious killer apps for the platforms, you know, on consoles, on different game devices. But for mobile, I think the mobile killer app has not been discovered yet, and I think it's up to bias a little bit up to indies, you know, like us, to actually be creative and to experiment and actually discover it. And when it hits, I think it's going to hit bigger than anything else.
Yeah, I had a question. You started out as a kind of a technology company originally, so this is sort of a geek question. I wonder if you could comment on the out-of-the-box tools that are emerging, meaning the trade-off between build your own and clearly on the social back end and analytics and so forth. But the space, you've got sort of lower end tools for platform specific things like Game Salad evolving, and then you've got Unity and so forth. It's clear that the day is not too far away when you're going to be able to buy packages to do a lot of that stuff. I wondered what your views were on all that and who you see some of the emerging players are, if there are any that we should be aware of.
Yeah, I think tools, and packages, they're all about time, right? If it saves you time to get to market and that's important to you, go ahead and do that. But, be mindful that, there are a lot of promises of tools that would fix cross-platform issues. It'd be write in script and you can get it published everywhere else. I mean, it's hard to believe that because, that could have been extremely useful in the J2ME years when the big F word, the fragmentation issue is huge, right? So, and the other thing about time is that if your tool or the APIs you're using does not have the things that you need later, you're fully dependent on their timeline to get that out. So those are, there's no right answer, but those are things that you should be mindful about.
Excuse me. With the freemium model that you guys tend to follow, do you find your enumeration comes more from other publishers, or do you find a digital distribution of assets inside your games an important factor of revenue generation?
What do you mean coming from other publishers?
Well, I mean, now you guys self-publish, but there was kind of an allude to you having previous publishers. Now, do they come in and help with the distribution side and bring in money to help on developed projects? Or do you essentially self-fund through the freemium with the digital asset distribution?
So you either go publisher route, where the publisher will fund your project for you and help you distribute it, or you fund yourself and you self-distribute.
Yep.
All right. So for us, we've done both, and for the ones that we self-publish, we rely a lot on in-app purchase itself. So far with our games, in-app purchases is providing the revenue. Okay, thank you very much.